Okay, if you can't tell, I'm very nervous, so bear with me. So my piece, it's called Influx. Even though it doesn't look like a river, it represents many tiny streams of me from different time periods, a different context, and different relationships flowing into the river of me today. It is a representation of how I want to be seen and how I want to see others. I think this is how we feel whole and truly seen, through time, through our relations, and how we interact with the environments as they change. And you can read a little bit more about that in the art statement. And I want to talk about my love letter collage for the bulk of this artist talk. I made this after this collage after attending the Hungry Ghost workshops. And I struggle a lot in that workshop because my family has been pretty scattered since I was a teen. It's a kind of a long story, but you can ask me about it afterwards. In many ways in the workshop, I feel a little taunted because I don't know much about my family's history, and I haven't really cared for some of my family members. And some of them I haven't seen for decades. Like, I know them and their names, but I don't see them or know them, and I don't remember what they look like. So when we looked into the patterns in the family tree, I was angry. I was like, I don't know. I don't care about my cousins. I haven't seen some of my aunt for like years. I don't know what you want me to say here or like write out these patterns for. But eventually I uncovered a lot of my resentment for my grandma, my paternal grandma. She was mean to my mom, and she never really made me feel like I mattered. But she was also the closest grandparents I had, in a way that, I know her cooking. I spend a lot of time visiting her on the weekends, and her place is the place that I spent a lot of time in when I was growing up, and all of that jazz. So she passed 3-4 years ago. I don't quite remember, but I thought I had reconciled with her internally after her passing. But through the workshop, I learned that I actually didn't, and that's because I didn't look at her in the way that, like who she really was, and the pain that she went through as a woman of her time. From being colonized by Japan for years to the nationalist government fleeing from China to take over, she had very little control of her environment, and things changed rapidly. I didn't see her paying as a daughter who was married to a man of lower socioeconomic status and left her abundant family. I didn't see her paying as a wife who was left behind by her husband in pursuit of religion. I didn't see her paying as a mother who was probably forced to birth many children until the boy, who was my father, arrived. But with Cynthia's prompting, even though I was mad, and I was like, Cynthia, why are you doing this to me? Why are you asking me all these questions? But I saw my grandma. I understand her. And I was reluctant at first, but I learned to see her more and more. The sorrow and the powerlessness, not knowing what to do or how to love. And I realized that this pain is passed down to me because she trusted me to make good use of it. She trusted me to mend and to see her and to understand her and to enjoy the freedom that she did not get to have. So on this collage, I put freedom to laugh, freedom to eat, freedom to relax, and these are baby photos of me. On there, in the sky is freedom to choose, freedom to thrive, freedom to express, freedom to speak, to feel, to education, to love. There's one, unfortunately it was blocked by the frame, but it's freedom to know truths. We're almost there, 2/3 away. This picture underneath here is a love letter I wrote myself on the back of this collage. And this is the more written out, like easier to read version of it. So feel free to come and read it later. And I want to say that this is a huge spiritual breakthrough for me, to stop resisting and to accept the gifts and wisdom. And I made 2 collages about this past week, which they will be in the artist folder outside.
They're gorgeous.
So yeah, big props to Cynthia for carrying me through this journey. When it comes to the rest of this piece, for some reason from the get-go, when Cynthia is like, you should frame your collage, and I told my partner, I'm gonna get one of those grandma frames. I want it to look like it's sticky from all the cooking oils, and like, you know, you can see dust on them and stuff like that. So I knew I wanted to be looking a little tacky, like if you will find it in your grandma's place. Not necessarily my grandma's, because she was a very minimalist person, but you know, like a stereotypical grandma feeling. And yeah, the laces are gifts from my mom's friend. They're very vintage. She saved these for maybe decades. That's another element of, you know, looking a little familiar and old and vintage. And that's kind of what I envision my place to look like a grandma's house or kitchen, and you can smell the cooking. There's always a tea kettle going, so it's warm. It's blankets everywhere because grandma is always cold, and things are tinted and yellowed, and it's a place for people to come to be seen and to see themselves in a similar way that I see my grandma now. And also how I want to be seen on here, through time, through relations, through interaction with environments. So all of the things on here are objects that I've kept some since before I came here in 2008, and a lot of them are collected through my journey here in the US. These pieces of paper are letters that people write me, so that's the gist of it. Thank you so much.